Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and I'm going to give an update on my Dungeons & Dragons playing, my Dungeons & Dragons participation, my Dungeons & Dragons activity. All right, so basically, I have just been invited to another ongoing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign. So to give you an update, so last year was pretty rough, right? I had a 3-year campaign, kind of all the players just exploded off into different directions. The campaign ended badly, right? And you could go back in my history and get every bit of all the drama that happened, right? Sans player name. I try not to out people, or give people their anonymity here, right? So then I had to reshape, what I was doing with Dungeons and Dragons, right? So one of the things I've been shifting into is con play. I played Dungeons & Dragons at PhilCon 2022 and at PAX Unplugged 2022, which was fantastic. And then I was invited into a Roll20 Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign. That's an ongoing campaign that I'm playing in right now. And I just got invited and played I'm literally returning from this session now. I got invited to a very nice, very fortunate to be in the game. I got invited to a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition physical table game, right? Which is completely and 100% unimpacted by any of the OGL activity that we've been talking about for the last week. It did not change a single thing for these, for this table, right? So so I'm incredibly fortunate, and I just wanted to share with you. So at this point, I'm playing in 2 ongoing 5th edition campaigns, which is fantastic, and I feel very fortunate about. And honestly, these invitations just came out of the blue. I didn't do anything to seek them; they were just blessings from God, right? And from the people involved, right? Who I think were prompted by God, whether they think it or not. So they were all, this was all, prompted, and I'm very fortunate, and I'm very excited, right? One thing I wanted to say is, we just spent a rough week, right? Like everybody, this 2023 Dungeons and Dragons, 2023 Spring Dungeons and Dragons, OGL 1.1 leak firestorm. It was like being drug over glass, right? Like for a lot of people. I'm not sure it was for me. I love the drama. I love to see the flames lick high, baby. Like we play Dungeons and Dragons because we're attracted to adventure, right? So, but there were rough parts, right? There was I don't like to see Hasbro down and insulted, right? So it was rough for me at points too. But I think overall, a lot of people were exhausted by this. And I was seeing quite a few Europeans. They were like, what the heck? You Americans are so, it was a Twitter tweet. They're like, you Americans are so exhausting, right? And I get it. We pretty intense and adamant in America. That is for surezies, right? But what really kind of, it was really interesting. What I enjoyed, right, is just getting back to the table, and the OG health did not change one single thing for either one of the 5th edition games that I play in, right? And so that's really exciting. The other thing that really struck me is I was blessed to go in this mega basement, right? And I couldn't believe it. And this guy had, this is not a joke, he had 1,000+ minis, and 100 of those minis were scaled, right? What I mean is they were large to gargantuan, right? This dude had the 5-headed Tiamat, the big one, right? He had the Chardalon dragon. He had no less than between 25 and 50 of those huge, right, $100 to $400 dragon. They had dragons in every color. I literally think he had every single D&D dragon that's been made. I've never seen anything like it. And then literally 1,000 minis. And, if you said Wyvern, or if you said Skeleton, or if you said Beholder, he could pull out multiple minis off the shelves. And, I often feel like pity for my wife. Like, this isn't a joke, I have 5 different D&D libraries, right? I have libraries of actual Dungeons and Dragons D&D canon hardbacks. I have libraries of tabletop role-playing games that are off-size. I have digital libraries. I have 2 separate digital libraries. And then I have a library of books that have nothing to do directly with D&D, but I own them specifically to understand the world better so that I can be a better dungeon master. I own 5 libraries, and that my house is filled with just all this Dungeons & Dragons stuff. And I feel so bad. Like, my wife, signed on to this, like, she lives with this person who's just has so much time and attention given to Dungeons & Dragons, right? And I'm very careful. Like, nowadays, I've reached a point where I can, like, sell stuff off to get new stuff that I want. And I'm very careful about just not accruing more and more and more. But with that said, right, one thing that really blew me away was this, what my collection is nothing compared to what this guy has. He has even more role-playing games on the shelves than I do, and his miniature collection dwarfs anything I've ever seen, right? And this is the kicker, right? Like, it's so nice and so easy to throw shade at Hasbro, but for 20 years they have very carefully defended this activity, which has spawned, I think there's probably 500 to 1,000 mega basements in America like this, right? That are just literally temples to Dungeons and Dragons, right? And like, $4,000 or $5,000 tables, and $10,000 to $20,000. Oh, there was easily $10,000 to $20,000 worth of miniatures on the shelves at the place I was at tonight, right? And like, and there's hundreds of these all over the United States of America, and it all comes from this incredible, awesome energy from Dungeons & Dragons and nothing else. You can say whatever you want, but you could walk down any main street in America and offer $1,000 to anybody who could even name another tabletop role-playing game, and you'd keep your $1,000 at the end of that street, right? So, in reality, it is truly, truly incredible, and I just wanted to share with you, I'm incredibly blessed to be in another game. And I'm very fortunate, and I wanted to share that with you because I talk about Dungeons & Dragons here all the time. Some of them in a new Dungeons & Dragons game that's kind of apropos to what this channel is about. And I just wanted to say, I understand, people are upset with Hasbro, but the reality is, I think the people are upset with Hasbro. They're upset because they don't really give Dungeons & Dragons the credit it deserves for what it's done. And I think that needs to change. I really think we need to start giving Hasbro credit for the things it's done right, not just pointing and screaming when they do something 1 centimeter off. All that's my humble opinion. I'm very eager to hear your humble opinion about any and all of this. I would love to hear that when you get in the comments and you send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.